How's it going, you beautiful people? My name is Rhys the Dragon, and welcome back to more Azur Lane. Last time, we got to the first large plot twist of the full scales, that being of Clemencial betraying Marco Polo. And now we get to see what else they have to offer. A massive fleet was gathering in the waters outside of St. Helena's port. Flourish's eyes, countless Iris Libre flags fluttered in the wind. Among them was a flag that had not been flown for what felt like an eternity. The Irish Orthodoxy's insignia, representing both Iris Libre and Visha Dominion. All who saw it couldn't help but wonder, how long has it been? How long have they waited for this moment? Richelieu's eyes turned from the flags raised all around her towards the sea fog hanging low in the distance. What had once been a source of mystery and doubt was now a doorway towards her goals. But unlike the sunny, placid seas around her that shimmered with the colors of her homeland, what awaited on the other side of the doorway was a sense of gunpowder and burning debris. But terrible. This is what you were searching for at the Tribunal stronghold. But why does the Tribunal use siren technology to its extent? Clemenceau, what role do you play in all this? Cardinal, it's almost time. Yes, at long last. Rhys took a deep breath, stepped forward in front of the podium, and felt the weight of her fingertip pressing down to the tiny button on the microphone. My friends of the Irish Orthodoxy, listen well. Our audience fell silent as everyone's attention shifted to the Cardinal's words. Rhys looked out across the people gathered there, saw her friends, those she had fought alongside before, those who she would fight alongside in the battle to come. My friends, you may have seen what lies on the other side of that door, our blue seas, violated by the enemy, our lands, rivers, and skies engulfed in a nightmare from which there is no waking up. As we speak, the anomalies that attacked the World Expo approach on our world. The flames of war threaten to consume us once again. But do not forget, there are still those who would give anything to snuff out those flames. Yes, our compatriots in the Visha Dominion are fighting as we speak. Richelieu gestured to the doorway in front of them. The scenery on the other side became clearer and more vivid as the sea fog prepared to teleport them. Hands fired desperately, swarms of bizarre enemies, giant machines raining from the sky, a sea chugs of unnatural, grasping clouds. Do not forget, both Iris Libre and Visha Dominion used to exist as one. Irish Orthodoxy has always been one. However, the misfortunes of the past divided us, misleading us into turning our blades on our own. Never asked for those scars that now cover us and our homeland. None of us chose the unreasonable reality we now face today. After a pause, she surveyed her compatriots again. Then she reached for her flag standing on the podium, one that she did not normally bear. Despite that, many of you have followed me across the Whirl Islands, through the flames of war. Others joined us along the way on this long march towards justice. I, Cardinal Richelieu, firmly believe that we have all been driven by the same belief, regardless of how long we have been on this journey. There is no doubt in my mind you all gathered here for a unified purpose. To see the Irish Orthodoxy become whole once more! Do not turn a blind eye while our home is ravaged. We will not turn a blind eye to the suffering of our friends. We proud warriors will not bend, not to the sirens, not to the reenactments, and certainly not to the fear and uncertainty. You know what lies this door as a calamity threatens all of civilization. There is but one thing for us to do. We will defy it. We will fight in the name of the Irish Orthodoxy to the very end. I, Cardinal Richelieu, do solemnly swear upon this sacred banner, I will fight until I breathe my last. I will fight until the banner of Irish Orthodoxy flies over our homeland. No enemy shall ever threaten us again. Come, my compatriots of the Orthodoxy, the time is upon us. Weigh anchor! We set sail for our motherland! The vessels rumbled like thunderous applause. Thus, the glorious march of unified Irish Orthodoxy had begun. Visha Dominion territory, Toulon Harbor. Fierce fighting had been raging on for quite some time. Burning wreckage now littered the surface of the water. Though the defenders managed to buy a moment of peace, there was no doubt in their minds they would not be able to hold off the next onslaught. Showing the final enemy in her sight, Jean Barton kneeled, exhausted, looked to her injured allies. What drove them was no longer pride, but an indignation of not wanting it to end like this. Not again, damn it. Am I just losing control of my emotions? Or did I make the wrong decision? I lead my friends to destruction again? Jean Bart, the next wave is coming. Let's mass-produce ships this time. They have more forces in the skies above and waters below. What should we do? Good question. I damn sure wish I knew the answer. First Rhys, now Clemenceau. Why must we suffer betrayal after betrayal? Jean Bart numbly pushed away the call from her communicator and sat down in the water. This music. Don't give up just yet, Jean Bart. Sister? What, such my life flashing before my eyes? That stupid black sun making me hallucinate. What a cruel joke. It's a godsend to take me away. Jean Bart, as leaders, there are always those who look towards us for hope. If even we give up, we shut the door on those who deserve a brighter tomorrow. Please fight until the last light has faded. Quoting the commander, huh? God sure has a funny sense of humor. Using my sister's face to say those words. The booming sound of artillery heralded the return of war to the quiet sea. Countless enemies born for the divine vestige appeared on the horizon once more. However, their attacks not directed towards Jean Bart's fleet. Jean Bart! Reinforcements! Reinforcements have finally come! Look over there! It's Azur Lane fleet, along with the Tribunal's fighting angel! The enemy's being routed! We're saved, Jean Bart! I just made peace with the fact that it was going to get sunk. Talking about good timing. Both the Tribunal and Azur Lane are here. Does that mean that the conflict with Clemenceau was just an elaborate ruse? Jean Bart could not make sense of the words she was hearing. Rose had been roiling for so long. What did it all mean? Could she afford to have hope again? Azur Lane and the Tribunal. Together? What's going on? I heard Rhys' voice before, was that? Sorry I'm late, Jean Bart. No matter how desperate the situation is, we must not give up hope. I'd not be able to seize that brief glimmer of light when it finally arrives. Cardinal Rhys, why are you here? You didn't come to laugh at me, did you? No, I'm here to save someone dear to me. A certain ship girl who calls me her sister, in fact. Though, it wouldn't hurt to call me that more often. For example, during a touching reunion, such as this one. Repeat after me now. Sister. Why, you. Sorry, I got a bit carried away there. I'm sure there's a lot of light to get off your chest right now, but the enemy is still out there. I'll have to catch up with you later. Let's get right to business first. The Terrible told me about the World Expo venue. We're going to support the commander next. We can only speak for Azur Lane. The Vishal Dominion will each make his own choice. Jean Bart, will you join me? I don't speak for the Vishal Dominion anymore. I'm excommunicated by Clemenceau. We're just exiles now. That doesn't change my offer. Jean Bart stood up, took a deep breath, and flipped the switch in her communicator. To all those ship girls who no longer have a place to call home, I am Battleship Jean Bart, formerly of the Vishal Dominion, speaking. I will now join Cardinal Rhys' fleet and aid her in fighting for unified Irish orthodoxy. No longer in any position to order any of you around, but I hope you'll decide to join us in driving those bastards out of our homeland. Jean Bart! I'd be glad to. Of course, banished or not, will follow you until the end of the earth. You stubborn old grouch. I'm just glad you and Azuri finally decided to open up. Yeah, it's been too damn long. It's time to put the past behind us. Jean Bart discarded the shattered banner of the Vishal Dominion and got down on one knee in front of Rhys. She then laid down her own Irish flag atop Jean Bart's shoulder. As Cardinal of the Irish Orthodoxy, I solemnly declare, Jean Bart, you justly deprived status of Templar Knight and your position within the Irish Orthodoxy's fleet are hereby restored to you. Same goes for all the other ship girls formerly under the command of the Vishal Dominion. Please fight alongside us, Jean Bart. By the will of the Holy Iris, I swear my allegiance to you, Cardinal Richelieu. Sister. I finally come back to you, my sister. Sorry it took me so long. Tears erupted over the ocean. Without anyone's notice, Gascog silently slipped away after bearing witness to it all. B1. False God's Cocoon. A pitch-black cocoon appears in a pure white world, from which an aberration is born. Sometime in the past, unknown location, within Ironblood. Would you just answer me, Frederick? What do you think of these reenactments? What do you think of the reenactments in today's circumstances? We'll never be able to get rid of the sirens for good unless we all join forces. Naturally. But your proposal isn't grounded in reality. As long as the Beyblade Steel has influence, any forceful attempt to unite the factions will end in failure. Even a superficial alliance will come to naught, just like the previous Azur Lane. Creating sand in your hand will only cause it to slip through your fingers. What's with that fucking face? Until nothing remains. Alright, so we can't get along. That doesn't mean we can just go along with the Sirens' plans. They only build their power make the situation worse. War is but a continuation of politics with other means. What is true of reenactments is also true of our war against the Sirens. It's simply not time yet, Marco Polo. Don't rush things. I'm just beginning now. Return to Sardegna and play your part of the composition. I can't get over that fucking face. Friedrich left. Only Marco Polo remained in the room. You sound so self-important, Friedrich de Gross. Is it because you're a blueprint ship? Well, so am I! Don't we exist to crush sirens with overwhelming force? Wasting energy on politics and inter-faction conflicts is so inefficient. Bismarck's confidant my ass. But it's true we're going nowhere fast right now. I'm going to break through this. Like way to easily beat the sirens. I know. I'll just have to find someone stronger than them. Just you watch, Friedrich. Someday I'm going to clean up this mess myself. Then the whole world will know my name and marvel at my greatness. Yeah, of course, we got absolutely insane people. What do we got here? Okay, so we got Corrosive Aberration, Alliance Fleet. I really should make a multi-faction fleet, but, yeah. Tribunal Support. Commander, behold my next move. In battle, Allied Tribunal mass-produce ships and Mechanist Confessors lay down supporting barrages. False Gods Domain 2. All ships in the False Gods Domain have further reduced stats. In addition, enemies will gain stronger supporting barrages. Let's get to work. It's so weird to not see my submarine fleets moving. For some reason, it's just so ominous to me. With that picture, I had to make sure I passed the 10-minute mark of the video. I find it funny how, I believe earlier, one of the girls said, these don't look like any sirens we know, when, like, we know that sirens can come in very many different forms. Yeah, we've seen them take many different forms before, especially in the Shinano event where they look so incredibly different. Oh god, what has happened to the frame rate? I just look up from my notes, it's at 18 FPS. But anyway. I think they can look very different in the form of like the Shinano event and multiple other events as well. The fact they look kind of janky this time around doesn't mean that they haven't always looked janky. Also, probably quite a while after seeing this video, because I am recording this very far in advance, I think. Not sure about exact times, I'm not going to make any claims, but I'm just going to say that this video will probably come out about 2 weeks after its recording. Once I finish this, I will have made a video of a retrospective of this event. Mainly because I find it so interesting. Because, I haven't been the largest fan of Azur Lane stories lately. And it's not just because it's an hour-long visual novel, although my last video can be indicative of that. I say my last video, but a long time. Probably going to be a long time ago for you guys. The last video I'm recording this was the one that came up, what is yesterday for me, several weeks ago for you. The upload on August 17th, which fortunately has climbed to a pretty substantial view count, despite the fact that my channel has been very much so dead for almost a year at this point, which, if I still have the same people sticking around after all this time, thanks. Thanks a lot. Yep. With the fall of Marco Polo's throne, everything had changed in an instant. The sky went dark at once, as a purple curtain had been drawn over it. Despite the artificial night sky, fear and uncertainty had continued to grow despite the victory. Clearly, things had not gone back to normal even with Marco Polo's defeat. Danger was still growing within the darkness. By the way, is Marco Polo dead? Because last time we saw her, she got hit by Clemenceau's attack and is sunk beneath the waves. Is she just chilling down there, like, moping in the depths of the hell? Good day. Or rather, I suppose I should say good evening now. Did everyone enjoy Marco Polo's curtain call just now? Commander, we seem to have a call from Clemenceau. That's right. It's me, Clemenceau from the Rhys Tribunal. I would have loved to meet all of you and enjoyed our time together at the closing ceremony. But alas, who could have anticipated all this to happen? How shameless. Acting like you weren't a part of this. You were also the one who sicked those mass-produced ships and geysers on us, weren't you? Right before they landed, you transferred all your own Visha ships away. You're not gonna giggle and say this all an act, were you? She's right. You better give us a believable explanation for everything that happened. Oh my, is that the name you came up for my divine machines? That's cute. Clemenceau, don't change the subject. As the host of this World Expo, I demand an explanation for this catastrophe. It was all an act. You'd be surprised how close you are to the truth. The situation necessitated the emergency transfer. Had I not done so, Marco Polo would have attempted to coerce them into betraying you, and I would have not been able to release the Horseman of Conquest. Likewise, the Tribunal's mass-produced ships. They rolled a facade to convince her that I was on your side. You understand, don't you, Commander? The skybound wall could easily withstand the Divine Machine's attacks. My transgressions do not surely place you in harm's way. So why not put on a show to earn Marco Polo's trust? In other words, you knew this was planned from the start. You've been pretending to work with her all this time. All to stop her in the end? Exactly. A vague cooperation until her plan reached its very climax. Did you think the shot was perfectly picturesque? I must admit, it was quite magnificent. But what was that golden arbiter machine? Does it relate to the divine machines you were talking about? Somewhat. It has a weapon called the Mechanus Harbinger, developed in secret by the Tribunal. Maybe it'll trace its roots back to Marco Polo, but rest assured that it is under my control. I suppose we should content ourselves with the knowledge that they won't attack us anymore. Like Clemenceau, do not assume that everyone will be satisfied with that alone. Marco Polo, I know, would never come up with such a dangerous scheme. If you cooperate with her, having full knowledge of the danger of her schemes, that makes you a co-conspirator. No, worse. You enabled her. That's hardly fair, Vittorio Veneto. Even knowing her plans, do you think I have the capacity to stand up to the power she wielded? If there was in the slightest leak, her first order of business would be eliminating the Tribunal, given our specialty in information manipulation. Regardless, we still have to clean up the mess she made. I'll have my subordinates recover her. For now, shall we meet face to face? I'll have you know I'm already on the way to Bishop Pavilion. What about the fleet in Toulon? Are they safe? We just learned that Jean Bart's fleet's been struggling to fight off the enemy assault for some time now. No named fleet on the way to reinforce them, but enemies on the way have slowed them down. We don't know how well that secret pass will continue to function either. The Tribunal has any mobile forces to put to work. I expect you to stop the enemy reinforcements heading to Toulon. Yes, of course, Commander. Toulon is an Irish territory, and Jean Bart is a sister ship of mine. I'll see it done right away. As for the secret passage, I'm sure they've used it by now. As for the one of your fleets, why don't we... Actually, let's discuss this in person later. The road here is a bit difficult to traverse, so I'll get back to you later. Beep. And she hung up. She really does march to the beat of her own drum. In a way, it's just like Prince Eugen, or worse even. Beep. Another call? This time it's Cardinal Rhys? Suspicious timing. Is that hidden passage the commander mentioned? Change crematorium. You kill him, we grill him. This is Rhys speaking. Commander, representatives of the World Expo, I'm happy to see you all safe. Our fleet has already arrived in Toulon and confirmed the safety of Jean Bart's fleet. Once we clean up the enemies around port, performed maintenance, and resupplied, we plan to come and join you. Seems like they made it to Toulon through the hidden passage without issue. Did something happen at St. Helena? We initially went to St. Helena to secure the crown of the Holy See and rescue Maricel. Marlas? Have I been saying it that wrong this whole time? And let me see. Marseille. No one talked to me! Upon inspecting the documents we found at the secret stronghold there, we discovered a large amount of material concerning siren technology. One of the topics of interest was the network of highways the compiler used to rapidly move across the ocean. We then found a set of equipment called the Echolayer Transference System devices that allow us to use compiler's network in the form of a sea fog. I think there's meant to be a pause there. While just normal fog, the activation device turns the microlayer particles, composing it into a gateway of sorts that allows us to move en masse to distant locations. Apparently, this network extends all over the world. This compiler used to connect countless underwater areas and mirror seas. Presumably, this is how sirens use mirror seas as staging grounds for their attacks, able to move their forces over long distances. This also explains how they always seem to be able to appear out of thin air, and were able to attack areas that should have been inaccessible to them. In any case, this technology definitely was not meant for our use, but it can still function without compiler's authorization. For whatever reason, following compiler's defeat, we've been able to gain access to the network. After studying the Tribunal's analytical data on St. Helena, we were able to tap into the network, only to a limited extent due to the limitations of our equipment. I understand the inherent risk using siren technology and plan to report our findings first, but the situation changed when we discovered that fierce fighting had broken out in Toulon. The fact that we were able to lead such a large fleet through safely is surely due to the Holy Iris's blessings. It sounds to me like Clemenceau ordered the Tribunal to tell Rhys the location of the crown of the Holy See. But didn't Marco Polo steal it? The crown might have ended up Marco Polo's hands, but this alone is probably proof enough that Clemenceau isn't our enemy. Tell her about Clemenceau. I think you might not have a full grasp on the situation either. I want to know as much as possible before we come face to face with Clemenceau. I have a punch reserved just for her for putting me through this shit. Really? Clemenceau did that? Very well, I'll tell you what I know. Before setting sail, Clemenceau told me a part of her plan. The plan was to both stop Marco Polo and use this dangerous situation to bring Iris Libre and Vishal Dominion back together. Now, by making herself the villain, she will protect Jean Bart. Comrades, if I may offer my opinion, Clemenceau's actions may still be a bit suspicious. Maybe we should have faith in our commander and in Richelieu. The situation in the Mediterranean Sea, upon the entire world as it is, Tribunal's power and knowledge will be essential. Many of them split up as part of the reenactment. Let us not forget that they once sailed under the single banner of the Irish Orthodoxy. Let's leave our doubt and worries of a betrayal that may have never happened aside. Let's focus on the danger before us. Thanks for your input, Aurora. Now, when should we join up? Fair question. Between Jean Bart's prepares and resupplying, seems enemy reinforcements have arrived. Apologies, Commander, but it seems we'll need some more time. Considering Clemenceau's behavior so far, I understand your reluctance to trust her. But still, I ask you to look after her all the same, Commander. We still got a little bit to clean up. In fact, I might actually make a quick cut until I reach down to the boss, so give me a moment, please. And welcome back, my dear compatriots. Let's throw hands, shall we? Dear God, I just gotta look at whatever the boss is, and... what the fuck is that? I'm gonna look at this before, like, someone slaps its block off, so let's figure it out, shall we? Something X something regulation. Alright, have fun. I just say have fun, and Richelieu immediately snaps her neck. Kids, always be like Richelieu. Never be afraid to kill a man. The next fleet, consisting of Sakharin and Iris forces. I don't like the word Sakharin. It doesn't seem right. Stepped nearby when Marco Polo's throne was shot out of the sky. Said fleet was really sent there to clear the surrounding area of enemies. They began their search for the wreckage once they confirmed the horseman had ceased operation. It didn't matter whether Marco Polo had lost her mind or just been manipulated. She had to be rescued. I think the throne is somewhere around here. Keep your eyes peeled, everyone. The whole sky darkened after that explosion. The area ahead feels even darker than its surroundings. It's as though something is blocking up the lights, or absorbing it like a black hole. This is a good sign, surrounded by searchlights. Now it'll be easy to... Shimikaze's searchlights lit up the sea around her, and also revealed a misty hole in space. Whoa, it's pitch black! Is it swallowing up the light? That's just like a black hole, isn't it? Don't touch it. But the light could not pierce the darkness, allowed everyone to clearly see its outline. It's like an egg jutting out of the water. Does that mean there's more of it underwater? I remember reading about a sacrament that roughly matched this thing's description. We've already established that the unknown substance was creating all the enemies. It's possible this other unknown substance produces a different breed of enemy. In the clouds, all the aircraft moved out spitted versions of them, while the cocoons produce enemies reminiscent of mass-produced ships. The aircraft are liquid, the mass-produced ships are solid. Therefore, perhaps this hole creates gaseous enemies? I'll explain why searchlights are ineffective if the gas is really, really, really dense, like a certain someone. As soon as this thing does swallow our enemies, we should destroy it now before it becomes fully operational. What do you think, Shinano? Should we attack? This one is inclined to do so. Lady Jean, what do you think? On the one hand, we'll say what we're dealing with. The other, I agree with Noshiro. I think we should back off and bombard it with our aircraft. That way we retreat quickly if something happens. And if Marco Polo, for some reason, is inside of it, she'll suffer less damage than from direct cannon fire. So be it. Hakuryu, prepare for your bombers. On it! Been waiting too long as it is to use them. These aircraft drop their bombs in the foggy cocoon, engulfing it in explosions. For this moment, they were telling of a shockwave. It took everyone. Hakuryu, Noshiro, Shinano, Jean, the black mist engulfed every shipgirl who stood there. Flashback. Somewhere in the Sardegna Empire. Inside a strikingly decorated office, Marco Polo sat at her desk with its defeated expression. Another failure. And that one, and that, and this one too. They've all failed. How is it possible that I, the one born to answered out his glory, failed time after time after time again? I don't get it. Why won't anyone understand me? I was born to play the role of someone like Marco Polo, by the way. I want to restore the Empire's glory, I want to spread over the world, but nobody empathizes with my cause no matter the approach I take! Not the carefree Benito sisters, but those who are practically languishing away in mediocrity. I'm so tired. Nothing I can do? She'll limp onto her desk. Took hold of an ornament faultlessly left lying around. This cross must be ancient. It has always been laying on my desk. Fixated her gaze on the small cross. Yet for this moment, there was no object in all the world more worthy of her attention. Huh? Is this a sign from God? He has the power to destroy the sirens. Yes, that's it. The answer's been there all along. The enemy of the sirens is the one whose power is greater than theirs. Okay, we gotta clear it one more time, so of course, please hold. Whatever kind of false Eldritch Goddess is, let's beat the crap out of it. As I was saying to myself during the mission, I want to make fun of Marco Polo for seeing whatever this is and thinking, oh, it's a sign from God. But the phrase, biblically accurate angel, is not a meme. So maybe she just thinks she saw that. Or maybe it's just those 2 p.m. bouts of insanity that I sometimes have at my work. For context, I work at a grocery store. Well, that's dead. You are so gone. Disposed of and nothing but waste. Fuck you. When Shinano's fleet attacked the black hole made by the gaseous substance, they were suddenly pulled deeper into the darkness. Shinano, are you okay? Yes, what about the others instead? Shinano, we're in a real mess. Some weird enemy is crawling out of that dark goop. Fragments of nightmares, echoes of ruination. They only show themselves in this one streams of death. Why are they here? It's no omen. Jean, take everyone and evacuate. It will be done. Suffering. Melon, Breeze. Turn about face and secure an escape route. No, Jean. We mustn't send anyone ahead on their own. Going the way we came, too, is unnecessary. If someone's hypothesis is correct, this boundary is like a dream. This specific direction, and muster all of our strength, we may escape for this nightmarish domain. Nightmares may be formless, but if we have been drawn into one from the real world, there must exist a border between them. Nami knows this. They'll try to surround us. Still, if we can break through, we may return to our home world. You're familiar with this, Shinano. I'd you achieve the direction for our charge. Nightmares are formless, but they have borders. Oversimplified, but sufficiently close to the truth. However, I have a better plan. I know the safest route. Come with me. Who are you? I am a friend of the commander. I'll explain later. Just trust me for now. If we waste any more time, we'll miss our chance to escape. I have too many friends. Shortly afterwards, World Expo venue, Bijal Pavilion, temporary command room. And that's how I saved your friends. Couldn't have come at a better time, too. Those abominations they saw able to contaminate Shipgirl's hull upon contact. Their courage is commendable. If they aren't careful, it'll be their downfall. But don't worry, the contact is limited, so there shouldn't be any issues after we finish decontamination. Having said that, you should keep your distance for the time being if you value your safety. Now, where were we? Ah, yes. It's great to see you again, Commander. I heard you've been in the superimposition reality lens of late. I can't believe things turned out this way. Though personally, I'm a little glad. Upon learning you lost contact with Shinano's fleet, I have put together a team to go rescue them. Just then, Memphis Meta had contacted us. Couldn't think of it. The other Helena helped alongside this Memphis to the Union Sea of Stars. I don't think I've had the chance to thank her. You're the one who held us at the Sea of Stars? The Graham told me all about what happened to the Rowdy Lens. Thank you, Memphis. It's my pleasure. Your commander is my commander, too. It's only natural that I try to help. This rate calling us both Memphis is going to get really confusing. What should I call you? Whatever you want to. Memphis is fine. Meta is fine. That girl who likes the commander a little too much is also fine. Maybe the last one is true for both of us, though. That's not... Am I? I'll admit I was worried when you asked me to rescue your friend. But you were also carefree that I have to assume the problem is solved. That's lovely. Miss Allen inserted herself in the midst of the increasingly awkward conversation without anyone's prior notice. Oh, this is embarrassing. It's my fault. Now isn't the time for jokes. Allow me to continue. Commander, the situation is extremely bad. 100 times worse than what you experienced in the reality lens. Our Helena is doing her best to slow down the superimposition of worlds. But this it won't be enough. Can't imagine how hard I worked just to get to this branch. Wait, you know about superimposition? Well, things are doing well than I'd imagined. I'm surprised you know about these things. That should be my line. So for this branch knows about the superimposition of worlds? Are you also the person behind this? I am, though only partially. Marco Polo brought this plan to me, and I pretended to play along. However, I'm in the dark when it comes to what her god is. What I do know is that the principles by which she intends to have God and descend and establish her false paradise. Actually, I know how to stop it as well. And that Clemenceau produces a map. Recently, when the abnormalities began, the Mediterranean Sea is circled with a black pen. A number of cities, ports, and islands are also circled, all of them interconnected with lines. The large circle is her paradise where God will descend. That's the area currently filled with divine vestige. And the small circles here are conceptual anchors meant to create and maintain the domain. Conceptual anchors? Yes, they'll be one of Vishal sacraments. They trick into the manifestation of concepts, though I'm not sure that means anything to you. For the moment, give them special devices that maintain the domain. They destroyed them. No, there are too many, and they're all too fall apart. Spent every quarter of the Mediterranean, some beyond that. No way I could reach all those places in such a short time. Indeed. And that proof of how long Marco Polo has been working on her scheme. However, the grand of the plan, the wordings there are for me to play a little prank. Now, take a look at the lines connecting conceptual anchors. Clemenceau traces the line on the map with a finger. Commander, Rhys has told you about how she moved her fleet to Toulon, yes? If compilers defeat, we gain access to her microlayer transference network. So, do you understand what the lines on the map indicate? Working with Marco Polo, I fudged the location of the conceptual anchors to bring them closer to the network's nodes. I find that we are accessible now, given the new tools we have. As for the conceptual anchors themselves, there's no need to destroy them. We merely subsume them into a different conceptual framework. This ritual is meant to reflect Marco Polo's concept of God, who will counteract that with the concept of true divinity. By reversing the concept of holy miracles present in ancient religious tradition, you can reverse what she's done and overwrite her domain. It's quite simple to do. Too, by activating the smaller skybound walls of each anchor, the way to Marco Polo's kingdom will instead become a part of the Spear of Destiny. The Spear of Destiny is the Orthodoxy's holiest relic. It represents the divine promise of victory and holds the power to conquer all evil. To summarize it cleanly, Marco Polo has been trying to bring a being called God from another world to ours. To do this, he used a holy relic called a conceptual weapon to reflect the concept of another world's God within a certain area. So by modifying the ritual system and changing the content to a source of holiness, we can expel both her God and the related phenomena. You got them fast, Commander. Good. This very pavilion happens to have a conceptual anchor. Rather, the pavilion itself was built as part of her plan. We should be able to use the network to quickly travel from here to other conceptual anchor sites. Of course, each anchor will be protected by gauges and more, but I'm sure that your leadership could overcome them. Commander, before you make your decision, Lady Clemenceau, I'd like an explanation. The map shows the Strait of Gibraltar, Malta, and this pavilion have anchors. What did you do when Marco Polo managed to set all of them up? In Gibraltar's case, it's in the ocean rather than at the port. We set that one up a rather long time ago. Conceptual anchor at Malta is even older. I wager it's been there since before we were born. Lady Terrible didn't go there alone to contact the commander. She was checking on the conceptual anchor. I can't say I'm surprised, Lady Clemenceau of the Tribunal. You think of everything. If not for the commander, Churchill would also be able to manipulate us to no end. Oh, don't be so modest. Intelligence just happens to be the Tribunal's specialty. So, do you have any other questions? I think the most important is how you glossed over the superimposition before. What exactly does that mean? Oh, I'm sorry. The commander accepted so readily I thought I didn't need to explain. The most apt way to describe it is, everything we see before us is simultaneously real and not real. Everything in Marco Polo's paradise is the carbon copy of reality, much like a computer simulation of the real world. However, through her ritual, she is able to layer that simulacrum on top of the real world, which is also exactly what that mycelium-like substance is trying to do. You could say it's like making art by putting a layer mask on top of a specific part of a canvas you'd like to change. You're not painting on the canvas itself. Likewise, it doesn't affect the real world on its own. When her god descends, the two superimposed worlds become reality, causing the art on the mask to overwrite what's on the canvas. When that happens, will the original reality be trimmed away like a branch? Or will the true worlds mix, creating a new one? What is the identity of Marco Polo's god? Frankly, the thought terrifies me, so I don't want to think about it. The center of the abnormality is definitely the location where Marco Polo's throne fell. Based on the circumstantial evidence I've seen so far, it seems unlikely that the enemy we've been fighting to this point is there. Calling that into this world is nothing short of insane. If you worked at Marco Polo all this time, knowing full well the extent of her plans, there's no way I can trust you. I don't mind. I had a shady organization called the Tribunal. I've worked for the cause of all this mess. I haven't displayed an act of hostility by sending mass-produced ships to attack you. However, make this matter, I don't think that none of this would matter to you. You don't understand the value of my plan. I want to help the commander. You push for decision instead of arguing. Regardless, I have some final adjustments to make to the network, so I'll let you handle persuading everyone. Understood? That girl who likes the commander a little too much? Alright! So, it seems that, for now, we're going to push onwards. Join us next time, when we see where this leads. Rhys Dragon signing off.